Alright guys, this is a video of my initial impressions or initial thoughts on this reel. This reel is the Shimano Cardiff 50S DC. It's the first and only DC BFS reel ever made. And I found out about it a couple years ago, and my first thought was that it's probably not going to be that great because BFS and DC kind of don't really go together. You know, DC reels, their spools by design, they're much heavier than a non-DC spool because of their braking system is like electromagnetic. So I don't know if they put extra metal in the spool or if there's magnets in the spool or how it actually works, but the spools tend to be much heavier than non-DC spools. And you know, as far as BFS reels go, you want the spool to be as light as it can be, as light as you can get it to be, so you can cast as light of lures as you can. These ultralight lures, you need a really light spool for it to really work well. But you know, I saw this reel and it's a very beautiful reel. I mean, you can look at it, it has gold highlights, and it's a silver reel. Now mine, I have a few aftermarket parts on it, like these wood knobs and this handle nut and handle nut retainer. These are aftermarket parts. And also this they call it an offset clutch. It's the spool disengage bar that you press down. That's aftermarket. But if you look at the reel, move this right here, it is a very beautiful reel. The reel's very well made. I think it's the body is based off of a Conquest 50 size, and the Conquest are some of the best built reels out there, in my opinion. I have lots and lots of Conquest reels of different models and different sizes, and I really love the Conquest reels. So this is, I believe, is based off of that. But as you can see, it's a very beautiful reel. So whenever I first found out about this, I wasn't planning on getting one. But I got bored, I guess, you know, and I came across one. It was in brand new condition, and the price on it was pretty good. So I decided to go ahead and get it and give it a try, just to try it out. And really, I didn't have much expectations out of it, just for the fact that it was a DC BFS reel. So to me, it was more of like a novelty item, just something cool, something, you know, if it didn't perform well, I could just put it in my reel case, and so it would look nice in there. But what I found out is that, you know, even though it's a DC reel, it casts light baits really well. You would be surprised. This reel, the spool in it weighs 16.4 grams, which for a DC spool, that's very light, but for a BFS reel spool, that's extremely heavy, you know. But even at 16.4 grams, the reel casts like very light lures, and it casts them effectively too. You know, maybe not as effective as some like true BFS reels I would consider, like a Conquest BFS or Aldebaran or something like that, but it does still cast very well. And I've gone out recently and tested the casting performance of the reel, and I was really surprised. I was able to cast down to 2.2 grams, which was really the lightest lure that I wanted to throw on the reel. It might cast lower than that, but I think that around 2 grams is probably getting to like its low end. It might cast lower than that, but maybe not very effective. Like, you would really have to start adjusting your release point on your cast and everything to get it to cast lighter. But I cast it up to 5.75 grams, and it really, whenever you get into that kind of weight, this reel will really bomb those lures out there. Like I was casting that 5.75 gram Lucky Craft area spinnerbait. I was probably casting that thing 50 yards, maybe farther than that. So surprisingly, it does cast down pretty light. And when I read the description of the reel, I found a description on Japan Tackle. I think it came off of Shimano's website when they were still in production. It said the reel was meant to cast 2 to 5 gram trout spoons. So I'm sure it does that very well too. And also what I did to help it cast a little bit lighter lures is I installed some bearings from Hedgehog. I think they're called air ceramic bearings, and that I think that helped out a lot too to help it cast lighter. I was reading on Tackle Tour that they said the reel has a startup inertia of like, I don't know, 3.5 grams. I think, I'm not sure what it was with the stock bearings, but I know now with these new bearings in it, it's much lower than that. It's probably less than a gram. So the bearings did help a lot as far as that goes. So I've been fishing with this reel a few times now, and it's really a nice reel, man. It's really it casts super smooth, it retrieves smooth, the drag is very smooth. Just everything about it's really nice, and I really do enjoy fishing with it. Now, is it worth the money? This reel right here, it's pretty rare now. So if you are able to find one, they're gonna want a lot of money for it. And if I was just getting into BFS fishing, this probably would not be my first reel that I would get, because I would want something that's a little more all around, where I can cast like ultralight baits, maybe, you know, down to 1 gram and then up from there. And this reel can cast light baits, but I think something like this one, I think something like this could probably cast those light baits a little bit more effectively. Like this one can do it, but this one's probably a little more effective at it. So this right here is actually the 2017 Conquest BFS, and it has like a 5 gram spool in it. So, you know, really ultralight baits are like no problem for it to cast. But as far as this reel, like I said, this probably wouldn't be my first BFS reel, but it might be my second one, because you get to weights like 4 grams and up, and this reel really bombs those lures out like really far, maybe even farther than that Conquest BFS. So if you're looking for like a long range BFS reel, this might be a good choice for that, you know. Or maybe for somebody that does what they call power BFS now, it might be perfect for somebody that's doing that, because this thing really does cast far, and especially with the 4 grams and up, it's going to cast really far. But overall, I'm very happy with the reel. I'm glad I got it. It's a beautiful, well-made reel that casts very far, and I'm going to show a little bit of test casting video and a little bit of fishing video too, so I hope y'all enjoyed that. Alright guys, I'm out here today test casting the Shimano Cardiff 50S DC. This is the only DC BFS reel that was ever made. It's a really pretty reel, and it's really well made. I have some aftermarket wood knobs on it, and a handle nut and handle nut retainer. Alright, let's test it out. See, the first lure I'm going to try is this Lucky Craft area spinnerbait. This one's about 5.75 grams. Alright, let's see what it'll do. So I can cast this lure very, very far, as it should. I mean, it's a pretty heavy lure. It's compact, aerodynamic. It should be able to cast it far. I mean, that's got to be at least 50 yards, maybe 45 yards, something like that. That's really far right there. The reel super smooth on the retrieve. Very, very smooth. Do one more cast. So this is probably the heaviest lure I would throw on this reel. I'm not really interested in casting anything heavier than this on the BFS reel. If it was any heavier, I'd probably just cast it on a normal casting reel. But let's try a lower weight, see how it casts. Alright, right here I have a spoon, a 3.5 gram spoon. I don't know if you can read that, it's upside down. Let's see. That's what it says on the spoon anyways, 3.5 grams. I think this is made by Smith. I think it's called a Smith Pure Spoon. Let's try it out. Alright y'all, I switched over to this Lucky Craft 45 Wanderer. I believe this is 2.8 grams. It's like a sinking pencil bait. Alright, let's try it out. Okay, y'all, the last bait I'm gonna try out is this 1-inch, I think it's EPS swim, and that's on a 1/16 ounce jig head. I believe this weighs about 2.2 grams. So let's try it out. Alright, it seems to be casting it about anywhere from probably 22 to maybe 25 yards with this bait, 2.2 grams. So really, that's probably the lightest bait that I plan on fishing on this reel. The reel, it might be able to cast lighter than this. To me, this is probably getting pretty close to the low end lure weight on the reel. But anyways, I'm not going to cast any lighter than that on this reel. So I hope y'all enjoyed the casting, the test casting part of the video. Okay, y'all, this is the fishing part of the video. I forgot to mention earlier, the reel has a IDC4 braking system, and it's not my favorite braking system for the DC reels, but it seems to work pretty good. Right here, I'm casting into like 15-mile-an-hour wind, and you know, normally you're casting 2 grams into 15-mile-an-hour wind, and you're going to get some fluff in the reel, if not like eventually backlash. But this braking system does a really good job of managing the wind.